Entomorph, SSI's latest release, has more bugs in it than any other program I've ever encountered.
What, sound driver problems?
No, I mean...
Video problems?
Not at all, it's just...
Those mysterious lockups all the time?
No. I mean that Entomorph literally has a lot of bugs. Crawly bugs, flying bugs, walking bugs, talking bugs. If it's something that makes your skin crawl, it's probably in Entomorph.
Creepy things seem to be very popular with game designers right now, with the recent release of such games as Dreamweb, Prisoner of Ice, Ecstatica, and Phantasmagoria.
But frankly, most games going for creepy usually miss the mark. For some reason, designers haven't had much luck at creating a properly scary or creepy game. But Entomorph put an end to that.
They just went for the surefire, all-time creepy ingredient: bugs.
Entomorph takes place in the World of Aiden gaming universe and is the second game set there, the first being the mediocre RPG Thunderscape.
To understand just what's going on in Entomorph, you have to be acquainted with the fairly involved storyline, so here goes. For many years in the land of Cayenne, the people lived peaceful lives.
The residents relied on giant insects called jagtera for their day-to-day needs like heavy labor and food. That's right, not only did the folks make these insects haul stuff around for them, they also ate them, and they liked it.
Yep, the insects were the cattle in this world, but no one complained, and for a long time everyone was happy, and that's usually when everything falls apart.
One day, the sun became eclipsed, and monstrous creatures started roaming around causing all kinds of trouble. This is referred to as the Darkfall.
When the Darkfall occurred, all the giant insects that were such an integral part of everyday life in Cayenne took off, leaving the inhabitants with no food source or means of heavy labor.
Things continued in this horrible manner, which brings us up to the point of this game. It's 10 years after the Darkfall, and giant insects are once again returning to Cayenne. And you, the player, are heading there to visit some relatives.
That's when you find out things aren't as they should be. The jagtera are returning the feeding favor to the Cayenne people by feasting on the blood of whatever unfortunate souls are around.
And to make things worse, it seems that not only are people getting eaten by insects, they are actually turning into insects. Ew.
So it's up to the player to figure out why all this is happening. It's hard to say just exactly what kind of game Entomorph is. It's not quite an RPG and not quite an arcade shooter, but combines elements of both.
The game is seen from a bird's-eye point of view, as you control Squire Warrick, who roams around the land of Cayenne, solving puzzles, talking to people, and fighting bad guys. You know, the basic role-playing adventure things.
But the kicker is that all of this is happening in real time, while using a very arcade-like combat element. We've seen games that have attempted to merge all these elements before, but Entomorph really puts it together well.
Everything can be controlled through the mouse or the mouse and the keyboard. Accomplishing tasks is as simple as positioning your mouse cursor in the direction that you want to travel, fire, or fight, and choosing the function.
But this is a real sore spot with me. The mouse works fine, but I was wondering about using a gamepad or a joystick. The manual says I can use them, but a little reference card in the game box states that these options were taken out. That's what I was, and still am, wondering. It seems that this option was apparently included until the last minute when they decided that I shouldn't be allowed to use anything other than a mouse and a keyboard.
Well, I'm glad they're acting in my best interests.
Yeah, there's no telling what would happen if we were actually allowed to use game peripherals. I'm relieved.
Regardless, the mouse is a very effective play controller. One of the outstanding features of Entomorph, and one that gamers might not give much thought to, is the interface.
With the combination of so many game styles, the Entomorph designers have developed a nice and neat way of presenting information and allowing access to game functions.
A bar on the left shows remaining health, while a bar on the right shows remaining mana for casting spells.
A backpack and spellbook are represented by icons at the bottom of the screen, and are accessed by either clicking directly on them or using a hotkey function from the keyboard.
Using an item from the backpack is as easy as clicking on it. The power of spells can be adjusted from the spellbook by defining how much mana is to go into each spell. I really like the fact that I could choose how powerful each spell is to be. Spellcasting is handled in an easy, efficient manner. All you do is open the spellbook, which displays the spells your character knows. Each spell has an icon associated with it, and you simply click and drag an icon and drop it into one of the 3 spell positions on the toolbar.
These 3 spell positions represent the spells Warrick is able to cast immediately, which is accomplished by either clicking on the spell you want to cast or choosing the appropriate hotkey from the keyboard.
The game defines these keys as Z, X, and C, and you can't change them. Allowing changes is a small thing, but it would have been nice.
The designers have made interacting with the game fairly easy. The only real problem coming when you try to pick up or use an object. Not only do you have to be close to the object, but you have to be positioned just right.
Which is not always an easy thing when you have a swarm of bugs descending on you.
Of all the things in Entomorph to take notice of, the most noticeable are the graphics.
Everything is done in SVGA, and the artists really outdid themselves. This is one really icky-looking game, but I mean it in the best way.
This game doesn't back off the ookiness factor a bit. The bugs look almost too good, and some of the environments, like the inside of a giant anthill, are borderline gross.
But you have to hand it to the designers. They've got the look and feel of this game down pat. It's got atmosphere oozing out of its pores. Literally.
Being a blend of several different genres, some aspects of the game will more than likely suffer. It can get a little tedious traveling around from one area to another a zillion times.
And there's not much action at the beginning of the game since your character isn't really strong enough to go Fist City without becoming bug food.
But overall, Entomorph really comes through as a solid and entertaining game. There's lots of adventuring, along with a good storyline to keep you interested.
It looks really nice, the bugs look really buggy, and it's something you can work on for a while. But as far as replayability goes, forget it. However, it's fun getting there.
If you can handle lots and lots of insects on your screen and enjoy a good adventure, you should really enjoy playing Entomorph.